This here is the most shameful story I've seen all year. An innocent 18-year-old white boy was walking home in Southampton after spending a night out with friends when he was attacked by a Sikh man who was legally carrying a ceremonial sword. Henry Nowak was stabbed 4 times by Vikram Digwa, which I'm afraid to say isn't surprising. Every single day in the UK we hear news of people being stabbed on our streets, but what is so ridiculously shameful about this is after Henry was stabbed 4 times and whilst bleeding to death, and according to the own pathologist who analysed his death, choking on his own blood and suffocating, the police arrested the victim, Henry Nowak, and put him in handcuffs. He then died in handcuffs, all because the murderer claimed he had been racially abused. Yes, you heard that correctly. There is no hyperbole or creative license being used here. This is all information directly from the court reporting as this prosecution for murder goes on. A white 18-year-old boy in England was stabbed 4 times by a brown man, and the police arrested the white man and kept him in handcuffs as he bled to death, all because a violent criminal said the victim was racist. To top it all off, the murderer's mother then tried to help her son evade justice, hiding the sword he used to murder this innocent kid, and is now also in court being prosecuted for assisting an offender. Of course, the BBC are saying nothing. Sky News, they're saying nothing. The Guardian, they're refusing to report on this. The entire legacy media establishment is doing their best to bury this story, to try and protect community cohesion and the lie of a successful multicultural society. But you deserve to know the truth. So if you want the news the legacy media won't show you, like and comment under this video for the algorithm and subscribe to the channel as well. Or you can join my Substack to see the content I'm not allowed to post on YouTube by clicking the link down below in the description. And now we're going to go into the story. Now I'm going to try really hard to not get angry here. I've been sat here working this morning for about 45 minutes trying to let my blood pressure and my heart rate go down after reading up on this story. And it just isn't going down. So I apologize if I get a little bit angry and get a little bit sweary during this video, but I think you'll understand why. A university student died after being repeatedly stabbed by a man armed with a Sikh ceremonial sword. Finance student Henry Nowak, 18, was on his way home from a night out when he was allegedly attacked by stranger Vikram Digwa, 23 years old, with the 8-inch Shaystar blade. Digwa was caught on camera saying, "I am a bad man," before the fatal attack. He is now on trial accused of murder alongside his mother, who is accused of assisting an offender. Prosecutors said she went to the scene before running home with the knife to stash it among an arsenal of weapons there. They both deny the charges. Southampton Crown Court heard Mr. Nowak was in the first term studying accountancy and finance at Southampton University when he went for a night out in the city on December the 3rd, 2023, 3 years ago. And we're only just finding out about this now. It was buried by the police, buried by the government, buried by the legacy media. We're only finding out about this story 3 years later because of the court reporting, thankfully from the Daily Mail. He was out on that night with friends from his football team. The teenager went home at around 11 p.m. having drunk less than the legal limit to drive. We know that because after this man was dead, the police ran a toxicology report on his blood and found that he had hardly drunk anything. Again, he was legally under the limit to drive, so he was not drunk whatsoever, which you'll see is one of the accusations from the murderer against him. Jurors said he was speaking to friends on Snapchat when he came across Digwa. After he was stabbed, Mr. Nowak tried to climb a fence to escape, but Digwa was aggressively pursuing him, leaving a trail of blood. Now this is all bad enough. This is bad enough. This is a random man who has no rights to be in our country in the first place, murdering an 18-year-old, hopefully to become a really successful young member of this country. Hunting him down in the streets with a weapon he was legally allowed to carry. You and I, we walk out around the streets carrying a kitchen knife, we go to jail. Someone who's Sikh is allowed to do it for religious reasons. That is literally two-tier justice. That is literally British people, non-Sikh people, being second-tier citizens in our own damn country. Here's the really, really horrendous thing here that heads need to roll for. Police need to spend decades in jail for this crime. Police were called to the scene, but they arrested the victim after Digwa, the murderer, claimed he had been racially abused. Mr. Nowak was then handcuffed before passing out and dying in the street a short time later. The prosecutor said, "Put simply, Henry drowned in his own blood, with his lung having been cut out by the knife going 8 centimeters into him. Vikramadigra raises the defense of self-defense. He persisted that Henry perpetrated a drunken racist attack. We've already seen evidence that he wasn't drunk. There's also no evidence whatsoever that he was racist either, as if that would justify a murder. He says he doesn't recall exactly how the fatal wound came to be inflicted. I'll tell you how it happened. You fucking stabbed him, you animal. Here's the poor man who is dead, 18 years old. Would have made a brilliant citizen in the United Kingdom, no doubt. Taken. Opening the case, the prosecutor told jurors that Mr. Nowak's phone had captured the moment he met Digwa. Vikramadigra was carrying an extremely large knife in a sheath openly displayed over his clothing. At midnight that night, Henry Nowak was dead. He had been fatally stabbed by Vikramadigra using that knife, the knife that Vikramadigra has chosen to carry out on the street. The killing wasn't seen by anyone other than Henry Nowak and Vikramadigra. The neighbours heard the aftermath as Henry Nowak complained that he'd been stabbed and that he was dying. Tragically, he was right on both accounts. After he'd been stabbed, Henry climbed onto a bin and over a fence to try and escape, but he had already been fatally wounded and there was a blood trail on the street which demonstrates that he must have been stabbed before he climbed onto the bin and over the fence. Vikramadigra chose to aggressively pursue him. The prosecutor said a video of the incident was found on Mr. Nowak's phone, which was discovered in Digwa's pocket. So after he murdered this innocent man, he took it a step further and decided to rob him as well and steal his phone. In the video played to the jury, Mr. Nowak can be heard saying, "Hello car," and singing to himself before yawning, with the footage then cutting to show Digwa walking away from him. Mr. Nowak is then heard saying, "In it bad man, what bad man? You're a bad man, say you're a bad man, go on." Digwa replied, "I am a bad man," to which Nowak replied, "Are you a ba?" before the footage cuts off. It's at this point that we believe Digwa murdered Henry. Mr. Lobenberg said the defendant's father and brother went to the scene shortly afterwards along with his mother, who was captured on video footage taking the knife back to their family home. So this murderer's entire family united around their atrocious son and tried to protect him from the police. Once again, mass deportations, remigration is essential. The prosecutor said at the scene, Digwa denied stabbing Mr. Nowak and instead claimed